Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Dr. Jim Webb. I'm the author of the book, The Soul of Prosperity, as well as companion books, including 30 P's for Prosperity, Prosperity from A to Z, Build Your Self-Manifesting Vision Board, and Forgive Your Way to Prosperity. So every week, we come and we discuss a different aspect of prosperity. So tonight, I would ask you, imagine what your life would look and feel like if you had a wonderful job with wonderful pay, where you performed a wonderful service in a wonderful way. That's what Florence Scovel Shen taught us to be professional prosperity. So now imagine that all your relationships are outer reflections of your inner consciousness. And imagine that your inner consciousness is filled with loving self-acceptance and self-support. So your outer relationships would reflect to you loving acceptance and unconditional support. Imagine that you had all of the resources of any sort necessary for any aspect of your life. And imagine for a second that your life was easy and effortless. Imagine struggles being eliminated and hassles being minimized. Now, imagine that there is a deep peace and security within you. Imagine what your life would look and feel like with this deep peace and security, with a life that was easy, effortless, and joyful, a life where you were supported in every way, and a life of ease and professional support, professional balance, and family balance. Just imagine that. Well, these are many aspects of prosperity, and they are all different ways that God's love can show up when we integrate our consciousness with God's love. So this is just one way to look at prosperity. But prosperity is more than just a concept. It's not a sprint, nor is it a marathon. Prosperity is a consciousness and a lifestyle based on that consciousness, and a lifestyle based on the consciousness of prosperity that takes us on an ongoing journey. Now, what we know about a journey is that it moves through a number of different things and has a destination. What we also know about a journey is that there are stopping points along the way where we examine how far we've come, where we look at how much further we have to go, and where we may even need to rest and refuel. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Rest your way to prosperity, for rest is an important part of the prosperity journey. You see, when you see those Indy 500 cars or those NASCAR cars going around the track at these blinding speeds in these treacherous situations, what you often don't see is that they all make pit stops. And in that 60 seconds, old tires are taken off, new tires are put on, Oil is changed, more gas is put in the tank, all in 60 seconds. So even a driver at high speed in a race needs to rest, and so do you. That's an important part of our prosperity journey, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to be speaking tonight, we're going to be speaking tonight with Jerome Braggs, mystic, poet, and author of the book, Only Feed Me Life. Hi, Jerome.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's so good to see you. Now, one of the reasons I was anxious to have you as a guest here is because you learned to listen to the voice for God. You learned how to stop when necessary. You learned how to pace yourself in the life journey. And this became extremely important to you. So, why don't you explain to our guests, some of whom may or may not know you, how you came to the mystical place where you are through listening to the voice for God and resting?
Yeah. My journey to becoming this version of myself, and there have been many versions before this one,
Yes.
but this one is the most well one and the most delicious one to me. And so my journey to this version of myself began in 2005 when I was checked into a hospital with what and told I had 48 hours to live because I was being diagnosed with two life threatening, several life threatening illnesses and two terminal diseases, and told I had about 48 hours to live. And in that experience in the hospital, and while I was waiting, actually, they were prepping me for a surgery they were going to try and do to try to prolong the prognosis for a few days. So they're going to try to do this surgery to try to last me out for just a little bit longer. And while they were doing prepping, getting ready for this surgery, I had a near-death experience
Mhm.
where I crossed to the other side. And when I was in that experience, I had a conversation with Source uh, where I was told, and my higher self, and they're not different, but in that experience, I got to see it as both things. Um, and I was told in a conversation that I had with Source that the key to healing my body and the key to really manifesting and living a life that was truly delicious to me, that truly felt like my own heaven on earth, was to love myself. And that
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about that then. I was told very clearly I didn't know anything
Mhm.
about that then,
Yes.
but that my journey would be, after I came out of this, my life would become a masterclass in that, in learning um, self-love, learning it as our greatest medicine and the portal to heaven on earth,
Mhm.
and that I would teach it. That I would be. This would be kind of my life's mission here, a part of my
Mhm.
life's purpose. And then there was one more thing that was told to me in that, and I haven't shared this part of it a lot in
Mhm.
interviews or publicly or anything. I've been talking about this other part of it mostly, but
Mhm.
Source told me that um, I knew a lot about how to push and force and try and make life be good to me. That I had
Mhm.
learned a lot about that, but that I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about how to let it be good to me, and that
Mm.
it was designed
Mm.
to just be good to me consistently, and
Mm.
that was its purpose, and that I had to learn how to let life be good to me, and
Mm.
that I was going to learn that, and loving myself was a part of that.
Mhm.
So when I came out of that experience, my life began that, right. There was a lot of different, health challenges that I had to experience, and learning how to heal from those and navigate through those and live with those for a long time before they healed.
Mhm.
I learned a lot about what loving ourselves is, what it isn't, how
Mhm.
we've been really taught wrongly about it and not
Mhm,
completely about it.
mhm.
And um, how rest, since this is the topic of what we're talking about,
Yes.
how rest is a vital part, is one of the fundamental practices of loving ourselves, and how rest is more than what we've been taught it is.
Mm,
And what I learned from that in my journey with rest was one of the facets of love. You know, we
mhm,
talked on your shows before about some of the other things I learned about self love, but I learned that rest is a portal,
mhm,
that it take if we really truly and have a consistent and healthy relationship with rest, it becomes a portal to higher wisdom, it becomes
mm,
a portal to higher wellness,
mm,
and it becomes a portal to a deeper experience of heaven on earth, which
mm.
prosperity and abundance is a part of that.
Yes.
So I'm excited. So that's kind of like my journey became a
Yeah.
master class in that. It took
Okay.
me many years of failures and wins,
Yes.
and lessons, and having to relearn lessons, and before I
Mhm,
really became the embodiment of what was being
mhm,
asked of me. Uh,
mhm.
and yeah, so that's where
Okay.
I am now with this.
Yes. Okay, let's break that down because what I heard from you is as follows, and I'll quote you first, then I'll break it down for our audience. You learned a lot of ways to make life be good to you, but then you had to learn to allow life to be good to you. And what that sounds like to me is we all learned how to use the male energy to manifest with the male energy. But sometimes we have devalued the female energy of allowing, of resting, and receiving. And both the male energy and the female energy are important in creation because you don't create without the two, right? So, what I hear you saying is that we must all embrace rest as an equally powerful and mystical part of the process of creation. Is that right?
Yeah, rest is how you receive.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
that's
Speak it.
I think that is you said some things that I was like, oh, I don't want to take us on a whole tangent because I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
But this is one of the things that I was shown, and again, I haven't talked about this many places, so this is an exclusive kind of here. I
Mhm,
was shown in my journey about the masculine energy behind the manifest, and the
mhm.
feminine. And the masculine energy is the energy aspect of us that is more attuned to and created for the maneuvering in the physical.
Once
So,
again, the man word, the hand word, the man word.
right, the man word.
Yes.
So, why that's important, because we've come here to be in a physical experience. That's why
Yes.
our souls are here.
Uh-huh.
But that experience can be, when you just are socialized and trained and conditioned in that way of viewing things. What ends up happening is you believe that everything has to happen through action and
Mhm.
force. And even with the manifest, I have to do something, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is opposite of how the world actually really works,
Really
because
works.
it keeps you in the illusion aspect of the world
Yes.
instead
Yes.
of how the actual world works. And a large piece of it, which is, we forget from that standpoint,
Mhm.
is you are already fully and totally and unrevocably and unconditionally loved. So
Mhm.
that means that whatever you want is given the moment you want it.
Yes.
And
You
so
don't have to chase it and make it.
you don't have to manifest it, actually.
Mhm.
You
You have
have
to
to
allow it.
receive it. And
Yes.
that's we're not taught how to receive well in this
Mhm.
culture.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like the masculine is to clarify, to help you clarify what it is you actually want to experience in this lifetime. That's
Mhm.
the main aspect of its purpose here. But it is not the one that's supposed to help you create and receive. So
Yes.
that's where we get caught up, and
Yes.
where you talked about in the beginning how we've gotten kind of socialized outside of rest, because we think rest is really underneath it.
Mhm.
I know I believed that if I was more rested, then the good things wouldn't come, that I
Mhm.
had to perform, I had
Yes.
to produce in order for that. And I was not taught anywhere uh, in my upbringing, or and I did not see modeled anywhere that, oh no, that's the action is for the enjoyment of your life, right? That is
Mhm.
for do the things that help you enjoy and feel more fulfilled.
Mhm.
But the receiving aspect comes in from rest and trust.
Yes.
That's where you receive the most, way more than action could ever produce for you.
Yes.
You receive it through trust and rest.
Yes. So let's just uh, tattoo that onto our viewers' consciousness. If you want to receive, then rest to receive. If you want to receive, then still yourself to receive. If you want to receive, value that a portal for receiving is rest. Is that accurate?
Yes, and this is a beautiful time to put this in here, that rest is way more than sleep, although sleep
Mhm.
is included in rest. But
Mhm.
I think even the actual dictionary definition of it is no exertion of your energy.
Mm.
And so when we are resting, that means that I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm not mentally trying to fix anything.
Yes.
I'm not emotionally trying to fix anything. I am in a state of relaxation and trust,
Yes.
and knowing that all is well, all
Yes.
will be well, and
Mhm.
that I am a well-being, right? This
Yeah.
is another aspect of rest, is resting
Mhm.
in the appreciation and the acceptance of the self.
Resting in God, in other words.
Resting in
Resting
the
in the
God
God
aspect
within you.
of you,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
that brings you, because rest elevates the frequency.
Mm.
So relaxation, we know this even scientifically, relaxation elevates the system. It puts the system
Mm.
in what they call rest and digest,
Mhm.
instead of the fight or flight system. We have a rest
Mhm.
and digest system when the system actually goes into wellness
Mhm.
and health creation. Well, the
Mhm.
same is true in the energy, right? When we are
Mhm.
relaxed and we are not offering thoughts that are no longer in resonance with the God aspect of ourselves. So,
Mhm.
what I mean by that is, and this is something I learned both on the other side and in my journey afterwards,
Yes.
the God aspect of myself's consciousness is always in love.
Mhm.
Always, 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 always. So, what
Mm.
that means is it's always seeing me and whatever situation I'm in, no matter what the topic of that situation is always viewing it from a space of appreciation and
Mhm.
trust.
Mhm.
And that appreciation is saying what's valuable about this, what's
Mhm.
working really well about this,
Mhm.
what's going really awesome about this, what's beautiful
Mm.
about this. And then the
Yeah.
trust of that is everything is going to work out in my favor around
Mhm.
this, no matter what it looks like. And
Mhm.
all is well.
Mhm.
And that in and of itself is a rest.
Mhm.
Because when that consciousness says, there's nothing for me here to do, and if there is anything for me to do,
Mhm.
I will be guided to it, not from a place of stress and fear or shame, but from a space of appreciation and fulfillment.
Yes.
That's very different, right? So
Mhm.
rest is this space of a deep relaxation that happens not just in the body, but in
Mm.
the consciousness.
Yes.
And so
One of
that,
the most powerful lessons I ever received from A Course in Miracles is you don't have to do anything. And that to me was the first time that the voice for God overpowered let's call it the Judeo-Christian work and do and manifest ethic. And God said, rest in me and all will be well. And then I coupled that lesson with lesson 292, a happy outcome to all things is sure, so that I could trust that I could rest and let God do this.
Mm.
God's got this. And to me, those two lessons from A Course in Miracles helped me to create miracles in my life. And they mirror exactly what you said: rest and trust.
I want to speak to this one because it is so perfect. Well, first, I'm flying off of those two things because they are just right. So when you rest in God, rest in Source, right? One of the
Yes.
things that I learned in my near-death experience, but again in my journey afterwards, is that God, a large part of what Source is just a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're resting in God, you need to understand you need to rest in a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what I experienced Source as was this multifaceted frequency, meaning it had
Mm-hmm.
many different aspects that made up the whole of it, like a pie.
Yeah. Yes.
And so when you're saying that, what it means to me is rest in peace, because that was a piece that peace was an aspect of Source and of frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in joy, like
Mm-hmm.
just be happy. Go find some things that you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
instead of being in the worry, instead of being in the stress. Go
Mm-hmm.
find joy. Go
Mm-hmm.
prioritize and saturate yourself with that. Go
Mm-hmm.
relax, because it felt
Mm-hmm.
like this big peace, meaning ease, this just deep sense of all-encompassing ease, and
Mm.
then appreciation, like deep appreciation was this. It was like seeing things from like this feeling of like all is like lovable, all
Mm.
is like valuable, all is, oh my gosh, everything is going well, everything is working out, everything is beautiful. And when you can rest in these frequencies, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you can rest your consciousness in looking at what's going well, what's going right about you and
Mm-hmm.
about your life, if you
Mm-hmm.
could relax,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you can rest in this sense of like, again, all is well, this trust
Mm-hmm.
and joy, right? Enjoying what brings you joy, what feeds you, what breathes life into you.
Mm-hmm.
You are resting in God, and
Mm-hmm.
only good, only God, only good and only God can come from that space. And we are
Yes.
taught very, very opposite of that in our situation.
Yes.
Like, I don't have I have 17 bills on the table and I have $5. I need to,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get, we're talking about prosperity and abundance. I'm going to have to get this. And I have been in this space. Like, what
Yes.
people don't understand was when I was in my healing journey, like, I was making, goodness, there were years I was probably making less than $300 a month, and I had at least $1,000 of bills a month, right?
Mm.
There were
Mm-hmm.
times in the beginning, before I learned this aspect, this very
Mm-hmm.
aspect, there were times where I had to navigate, like, okay, which of my utilities I can live without for the
Mm.
few months, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's hot outside, so maybe I don't, I need to have my air conditioning, but maybe I don't need to use the gas stove. So maybe I'll just eat cold food, right?
Mm.
That's what I would do. Or maybe I can use candles so I don't need electricity for a while. But
Mm.
so I was thinking in that time, I had to make money happen for me. I had to
Mm-hmm.
make prosperity happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming into kind of, you talked about in the beginning what prosperity is, but one of the things that I remember at this time that became very clear for me was all of my needs are met, all of my wants are fulfilled, and
Mm-hmm.
I fully understand and know that all will be well and is well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was prosperity. Like, that is the prosperity for me. So when I
Mm-hmm.
really got to understand that and this resting in God, when I began to do that and let life be good to me, I said, okay, life is supposed to love me. I will let it. and I
Mhm.
will rest, and I will
Mhm.
rest in God. I will rest in
Mm.
source
Mhm.
every single time
Mm.
without me having to take on another job. Because also I was
Mm.
ill. So I really couldn't work more. Right.
Right.
And so I had to figure out this because I couldn't go to another job because I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the actual physical capacity. So
Right.
the only thing I could do was this is going to have to trust and let this and rest
Mhm.
in God.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, all of my needs became met. Money was coming out
Mhm.
of nowhere, literally.
Mhm.
Checks were coming from nowhere.
Mhm.
All of my
And
wants were fulfilled. Because this is the thing, not just my needs, but like the things I wanted to do. I wanted to travel. I wanted this. I wanted my home to be really great.
Mhm.
Abundance came for that as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
everything became well. All things worked out for my good. And just like the
Mhm.
thing you were saying from the Course of Miracles, that proved itself. The more
Yes.
I rested and I
Mhm.
began to have a consistent and frequent relationship with rest,
Mm.
it was proven to me that, oh, this is not, this is not, I was not supposed to, I was not designed
Mhm.
to overextend
Mhm.
or to overexhaust.
Yes.
I was designed to be in the frequency of God as much as I can, and as
Yes.
often as I can, as much as I can. When I'm there,
Mhm.
prosperity abounds.
Yes. In other words, instead of chasing all the aspects of prosperity, you rested and received by allowing all those aspects of prosperity to come to you.
It's our
Amen.
birthright. It's who
Yes.
we.
It's your natural
It's
state.
it's our natural state. That's what
Yes.
worthiness, which is an
Mhm.
aspect of what we are, and which is another aspect of God frequency.
Yes.
That's what worthiness is. It is a
Mhm.
you know, I keep trying to find a better word than deserving because deserving has with it
Deserving has the deserving has intrinsic in it the opposite, which is undeserving.
and performance,
And
right?
performance, exactly. It deserving still reflects that Judeo-Christian idea that we have to work our way back to God because we were born in sin. And
Exactly,
that's the energy, that's the frequency, that's the idea that stands in the way of our allowing ourselves to rest.
exactly, exactly. So that's the it's not deserving. You're more than that. You are it. You are
You are not
prosperity
worthy of it.
itself.
You are it.
You're it. You're it itself.
Yes.
And when
Yes.
you rest, you receive the evidence of what you are, which is
Yes.
prosperity.
Right. And it might have been there all along, but you were busy so looking for it in this form and in demanding that it come in this form, in this way, at this time, and under these circumstances that you didn't realize it was tapping you on the shoulder over here in a slightly different form that you were actually able to take in.
That's the beautiful thing about rest too, Reverend Jim, because rest gets you out of your own way, right?
Yes.
The more you rest, the more you relax, the more you trust, the
Mhm.
more you also relax the beliefs and the thoughts that you have that say
Yes.
something has to be this way, this can't work out for me, this
Mhm.
can't have, this. So you release those thoughts, and again, your frequency raises when you do that.
Yes.
And then you're out of your own way and you can
Yes.
allow your God self, right? The God part of aspect of you to then show you and show you what step actually needs to be taken or
Yes.
who actually needs to be talked to in this
Yeah.
space or what actually the money needs to go to, which usually is going to be to what you actually really wanted it to, where you really wanted it to be instead of where you thought it needed to go.
Yes.
um, and you begin to get again a higher level of wisdom that leads
Mhm.
you to an outcome
Uh-huh.
that is more delicious and miraculous often than you previously could have imagined possible for yourself,
Exactly.
because you cannot With in an unrested consciousness, you cannot see any part of eternity.
Yes.
And
So in other
eternity
words,
has, oh,
in other
go ahead.
words, rest and receive not only that which you desire, but also, and in addition, the guidance, the insights, and the wisdom that would get you there. Rest
Yes,
and receive the energy, the inspiration. Rest and receive the instruction, the rejuvenation.
yes,
Rest and receive the refueling, the reorientation, where you're not on the treadmill of lack or on the treadmill of struggle anymore. So, we're going to come back after the break and we're going to talk about all the different ways that we can rest and all of the ways that we can talk ourselves into resting in the same way that the ego has talked us into always being instead of doing. So we'll do that on the other side of the break. I know that there have been some questions already. If there are other questions, please put them in the comments while we're on break, and we'll be back after the break here on the Miracle of Prosperity.
What I can say is, wow, there are so many New Thought celebrities in the room. I am telling you,
This is a real family reunion, and if you've never been, believe me when I tell you, you are part of the family. You want to come, you want to learn, you want to be hugged on, you want to be loved on. This is the place to be. So
It's a lot of fun. It's like a family reunion. We get together, we laugh and we cry, and we're together and we deepen, and it's a lot of fun.
When I think about all the retreats I've been to, all of the summers I've spent going to many places to get spiritual food, nothing really quite does it the way Anton does. There's a family sense here. You come here and you are surrounded by loved ones.
It's very much like to see you at the Anton Retreat 2025. There are lots of wonderful surprises.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, hello there. This is Dr. Sydney Steen. I am the senior minister and spiritual leader of the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. We are a oneness center for spiritual living. And I just want to invite you to something that I think is really special. In October, from the 6th to the 10th, at Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri, the affiliated New Thought Network will be hosting the most wonderful retreat. This will serve your soul. It will lift your heart. And oh my goodness, I want to call it an advance. So come hear wonderful speakers like Martha Creek, Sonny Cantrell, and the music will be off the hook with Ricky Byers. There will be so much there to support your soul. I hope that you will join us. You can go to anton.org. That's ANTN.org. You can get all the information. You can sign up. You can use a credit card, and it is safe and secure, and I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity on the New Thought Media Network. And we've got a couple questions that we want to address. First of all, Rosabella at about 8:31 has a question, and that is more examples of resting and receiving in simple steps. So what are some of the simple steps we can take to reorient ourselves into resting and receiving?
Okay, so here's one of my favorite things. I give all of my clients that I work with, and I gave it in my workshop that I taught about rest. It's a to-do list. And so we all have our to-do list that we work, right? And you have all this stuff, and a lot of us have like these to-do lists that is way too long, and we end up with our day feeling overwhelmed. Even if we get everything done on that to-do list, you feel overwhelmed and exhausted. So this to-do list, what you do is you take two columns, right down the middle. On the left-hand side, you put your name, right? So this is your to-do list. And on the right-hand side, you can put source's to-do list, or God's to-do list, or the universe's to-do list. And what you do on your side is you write down the things on that day that absolutely need your absolute presence in order to handle. So let's say, like, for example, I have four things I need to do. I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the grocery store. I want to talk to a friend, and I need to shave my hair. I need to shave my head.
Okay.
So those are four things. Well, I have to shave my head. I don't go to a barber. I do it myself. So that would be on my side. And they haven't figured out quite yet how to take my body to the gym without me. I'm waiting for that invention to come. I will invest heavily into it if anybody can figure it out.
Yes.
But so I haven't figured that out. So that would be on my side. Well, if I actually think about it, it is possible somehow that groceries come to me without me having to go to the grocery store. I just need to know what I want, but somehow it is possible. So I'm gonna put that on the universal side. And then the other one, I'm gonna put on the universal side too, of me talking to my friends. I may not need to actually be the one that calls and physically called. Maybe they can reach out to me or somewhere, but I need to talk to that person. So that's on the universal side. Now here's the thing, you only focus on your side. And you trust that some way, somehow, the universe is going to handle its side. You do not go over there and put on your plate what wasn't on your plate on this other side. You do your thing. So you just focus on this. I'm going to shave my head. I'm going to go to the gym. And I've done this, and I do this every day, by the way, and I've done this for years. And every time I do this, what I find, using this example, because this is actually something that has been on my list before. So I will get these things done, and all of a sudden in the middle of getting my stuff done and focusing on this, I've forgotten about that stuff because I'm focusing on my things. All of a sudden, like, my mom will call. It's just that, hey, I'm at the grocery store right now. Do you need anything? And so now my grocery list is done and it's handled, and I didn't have to handle it. And then she's brought it over. I've felt the joy of this. Oh my gosh, this is working. And I've crossed everything off on my side. And then all of a sudden, as I'm getting ready to lay down, my friend calls. Say, hey, I just thought about you. And I thought, I've been thinking about this thing. I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. And so I have many, 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 many examples of things on the universal side that I put down. But the key is, no matter what, you don't do that over there. And if it doesn't get done today, the universe doesn't get it done, you trust that somehow tomorrow is coming. It's coming.
So in other words, you got out of God's way. You did what you could and let God do what God could. Kind of like rested prayer. And you rested.
Because I'm not putting all of this. I'm not putting more on my plate. I'm not in overwhelm. I'm not in exhaustion. My things are things that are easily handleable for me, or they're just, even if they take a little bit more effort, they're not over exhausting and overextending anymore. And this is a way that I begin to experience more rest, and I'm exerting a higher level of trust.
Yes.
Right. And I'm believing that life will love me and that it is going to support me in some type of way, and even beyond.
I will create the space to allow life to love.
And I'm receiving.
Yes.
Right? So now I'm receiving in a way that I wasn't before. Now I'm literally getting daily proof that life wants to be good to me, and it is being good to me. I am receiving more instead of always having to do. I'm
Amen.
receiving more. And so this is a very simple, very doable thing for anybody out there listening. Just every day. Don't just do this once, because this needs to it's a shift in your consciousness when you do this consistently, because you really start to see, oh wow, life literally is out there wanting to be my companion in here in this thing and be good to me all over the place. I just need to open the door for it to do
Get
so.
out of the way.
Be
Yes.
doing it, getting out of the way. And
Amen.
so this is a huge experience where you will start to feel, and one of the why I say it's restful, because the byproduct of this is you have a deeper sense of relaxation in your body. from this.
Yes, and let's do another thing, Jerome. Let's link relaxation and rest to health once again, clearly for folks, which was Rosabella's second question.
Yes. So, I mean, there's so much science. I'm getting into my science bag here because I'm in my spiritual bag, but I also have, degrees in the science side. So there
Yes.
is there are many studies out there that show the more relaxed you are, the more optimal your body functions. And one of the reasons why is because when we are operating in overwhelm, overexertion, when we are operating in fear, what ends up happening is that triggers the body to release stress hormones in the
Yes.
system, cortisol and adrenaline. And what these two things do when they are released in the system to the health, they raise blood pressure, they cause vasodilation, they cause immunosuppression. Your immune system is suppressed during this
Yes.
time.
Yes.
They cause many different things, muscle tightness and constriction. So there's a lot of things that these stress hormones cause that cause the body to begin when not, it's okay if it's just a shortened amount of time. And when I say shortened amount of time, I'm not talking about a few days. I'm talking about an hour or
Right.
two. And then this is completely relaxed and released and not triggered again. But when we are in overwhelm and overexhaustion, especially chronically, which most of us are, meaning this
Yes.
happens consistently, this is the way we move through life.
Yes.
When we have chronic fears and chronic worries, then the system is chronically in stress hormone overload. And so
And
the
let's
body
break it down into a simple thing. And let's do salivo-immunoglobulins. When we are in fight or flight, our bodies take all that energy that used to keep us in balance, and it takes that energy and it uses it to either store up to fight or to flee. And when that energy is diverted, things don't happen. Your body produces less salivo-immunoglobulins. What are salivo-immunoglobulins? Those are the things in saliva that keep you from getting sick. And when you don't have them, you get sick. And you got sick because you were stressed, because your body wasn't producing them, because your body was storing that energy to fight or flight. What does rest do? It restores you to balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all of those things, right? The immunosuppression stops, the elevated blood pressure and heart rate stops, and you go back into, I think we talked about this earlier, the rest or digest system, which allows you, because another thing when you're in fight or flight, the digestive system stops functioning properly.
Yes.
So you can't even diet. So you're eating these healthy diets and all these quote unquote right foods, but you're not literally in a chemical or an energetic space to be able to digest the food well. So you're not getting any benefit out of it really. So, but when you relax, that system goes back, like you just said, all of the things reorient themselves to be able to operate in wellness, including your immune system and your digestive system.
Yes, studies have shown that when people meditate, they reduce their risk of heart attack and stroke significantly for that reason. So it's absolutely fascinating, Jerome, and we want to thank you for all of the wisdom and knowledge that you shared with us tonight. And of course, we want you back as much as we can get you. So thank you. So what are you working on these days?
Well, right now I am in the midst of creating a whole new website because with all this new learning I've learned in the last 2 years,
Mhm.
I have a ways, new offerings, new messages, and all that. But in the meantime, I'm working one-on-one with clients. So if anyone out there is wanting to really recenter themselves in the frequency of source and
Mhm.
experience the healing, health, wellness, and heaven on earth that comes when you are centered in that frequency. That's what my work is all about. So
Mm.
you can reach out with me and we can talk about how to work together one-on-one.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, a new website will be out here probably in a month or so. I'm working on that. There's a whole host of new offerings that will be out when that happens. But for right
Mm.
now, just one-on-one working with me is the best way. And also my book, Only Feed Me Life.
I love
Uh,
this book. Only Feed Me Life.
Thank you so much. It is a collection of poetry that I wrote. That was I write poetry from a belief that poetry is medicine too. So my poems were medicine for me first to write them, and
Mhm.
they are medicine for you to read them. You will have some type of healing somewhere in that book by reading some of that. So you can get that on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. But that is what I'm currently working on. And
Mhm.
so, what are you, Reverend Jim? I know you always have some good. Every time I come here, you have something great up in store. So I want to hear what you've got going on right now.
Yes. Well, I want to talk about what has happened in my classes. My next class, which begins tomorrow, is Mastering Manifestation Magic. And what we realized with these classes is that we have all moved to the master level of manifestation. And the group energy of these classes will invite and elevate everyone in the group to the master level of manifestation. And what do I mean by the master level of manifestation? It means that we all have the capacity to manifest our heart's desires instantly, effortlessly, immediately, joyfully, and not toilfully. And just being in that energy, receiving new messages, new guidance, individual guidance, receiving new healing, receiving discussion, receiving support, and allowing spirit, because these are channeled classes, to guide us more deeply into that mastery by working with different prayers, different meditations, different processes, different techniques, and different healings. We can all go deeper into the journey of mastering manifestation magic. So even if you've taken uh, manifestation courses before, even if you've read books or you've got those vision boards that you did in January and now you need to dust them off because it's coming towards the end of the year, this class will help you move to the next level of mastering manifestation magic. So it begins tomorrow. The in person slots are sold out, but what you can do is you can sign up to receive the recordings, and it's for 8 weeks on Mondays and Thursdays. You receive the video recordings. You can listen to them while you're on the treadmill at the gym. You can receive the recordings, and chances are the questions people ask are questions you wanted to ask anyway. You receive the healing energy, you do the exercises, and you can still master manifestation magic. And if there are openings for you to, if you audit the class, if, for example, someone calls me at 3 o'clock or texts me at 3 o'clock and says, Reverend Jim, I can't make the class, I'll make an in person slot available to you if you choose to. If you choose to audit the class. So if that's something that is of interest to you, Get in touch with me at 202-253-6009. And who knows, somebody might call me and say, I decided to audit instead of taking the class, so there may be a slot available for you anyway. So that's what I'm working on these days, Jerome. But I want to toss it back to you because I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I want to thank you for your wisdom, your guidance, your brilliance, and your light. I want to thank our audience for being a part of this program and our producer, Michael Mangus. So until next time, I want to thank you all, and we will see you next week here on The Miracle of Prosperity. Good night.